Today we finally get to review the Pipe Vise plier driver. Now this is right off the bat a very pricey tool. I want to be upfront with you about that. I think they sell for around $125, $130, but with shipping and everything, I ended up spending around $150 for this, which I ended up buying it off eBay, which I thought was cheaper, and I think it ended up to be a little bit more expensive, but taxes and everything really get you, and this is pricey. Well over $100. It ends up being the same price as the Leatherman Surge, which is insane. Now, one of the things that I was shocked at, and I felt like I wasn't lied to, but I did not realize. I was convinced that this right here was basically on the same scope as this tool right here. Well, as you can see, they aren't. I have not seen this in contrast to a lot of these other tools. And for some reason, I did not realize that this was a 6-inch small, I guess if you call it small. It's definitely not extra small, but a 6-inch frame. That was one of the first things that shocked me. I was convinced that it was basically the same as this ROLR, and I thought, well, you know, it is pricey, but they both are about the same price and they both offer very similar characteristics. This one right here is CNC machine made in the US, but there is no lock, even though there is a magnet on this one. So it's pretty cool, but this is somewhere around the $130 price tag as well. And this one right here does have a lock on it. So I thought that was some advantage. They are made of totally different materials, filling materials, and totally different size. So with this right here, this does come in around 11 centimeters. With this one, my ruler doesn't even fit. We've got about 13 and about 15 centimeters. 6-inch frame size. This one is the 4.5-inch frame size for this other tool on this side. So yeah, there is a huge difference. Now, let's talk about the metal materials a little bit. One of the things that you will notice right away is this definitely just feels more like your multi-tool, like what your pliers are made of on a Leatherman Wave. Now, sometime back, I was EDCing a very lightweight pipe wrench. I got one from, I think it was Home Depot from Crescent perhaps. Then I decided to go ahead and buy this rigid one off of eBay. So this rigid pipe wrench comes in about 10 inches. It's a tiny bit less, but it's about 9 3/4 inch, somewhere around there. But it has the same similar texture. Actually, it might feel a little bit better, but than this one. Yeah, this is definitely, it feels like your Milwaukee pipe wrench, maybe your Crescent. So this Pipe Vise definitely has a totally different feel to it. Even when you move this up and down, it has more of a hollow sound to it. It definitely has that same, if you're used to using a pipe wrench, that clanky feel, that's how this feels. It's not smooth, it's a little hollow sounding, and I was really surprised by that. Now, I guess maybe I shouldn't have been, because this is a company, Pipe Vise is, that makes plumbing tools, but I didn't expect them to make something essentially like a plier version of a pipe wrench. Yeah, that was very different. Now, down here, you do get the locking bit driver. It locks into place. So you can see where the hardware attaches this. And this is double-sided. Now, this has no ball detent. I guess I'm trying to figure out, I feel like it has a catch mechanism in there, but because it's not magnetic held, I'm not sure how it's held in there. You can see these divots, so these divots must go ahead and catch on something on the inside. So I know someone will ask, what about the DeWalt bits? Will they work, the double-sided bits? Well, they don't go far enough in. So yeah, they sort of fit in there. Let's see if they fall out. They don't really fall out, but they don't go far enough in to use that, the ball detent. So I got a Leatherman bit. It stays in there, but it doesn't stay even as good as that was actually a Klein bit, not a DeWalt, but the double-sided ball detent bit. All right, so we've talked about this plier, the bit driver, the materials, the length. let's go ahead and compare the jaw openings. So this right here is actually my original Knipex. With this, you can see there, I've got this jaw. The pipe vise definitely, which you would expect since it's 2 inches larger, does have a larger jaw opening. You can when you open these as large as they can go, yeah, so it can grab a lot larger material than this one, but it is a lot larger to begin with. So I guess they advertise this as having a 2-inch jaw. So I guess they must mean about right there, 2 inches. Whereas in this one, fully closed is only, it's not even an inch, so it's about an inch. Yeah, so this is about twice as much as the Knipex, but it is 2 inches longer. Now, this one right here, the one from ROLR company, again, this will not be as large of an opening. Yeah, so you can see it's just a little different, a lot larger the plier vise is. Now, in the plier jaw opening, one of the things that sort of strikes me is this is a very simple system, and perhaps some of the other ones use this as well, but it's almost basically like this half moon system, wherein if you get this in here, well, let's see. So you have to get this in here just right for it to close and open. Then you can move it down here. And sometimes it's a little hard to get in these slots. There we go, got on that slot. But yeah, so it's a little tricky, and it doesn't feel near as smooth or as well made as even the Work Pro. So the Work Pro has these little divots, and it almost feels a little bit like a fidget. This is the Knipex rather. Let's go ahead and bring the Work Pro over here. Here's the Work Pro. Yeah, so this one right here, you push this spring down and it feels a little bit more like a fidget factor, where this one, yeah, it definitely feels, it just feels different. There's a lot more looser tolerances. It feels a lot more like a pipe wrench. That's really what it feels like, because with a pipe wrench, I use these all the time at work. A lot of times, a lot larger than this one, obviously. Sometimes, like a 30-inch pipe wrench, or the really large ones working on boilers. But yeah, these have a lot of play in them, and you're just sort of used to that. The tolerances aren't that tight, and that's exactly how this feels. The tolerances are a lot looser on this. Now, I want to go ahead and read down some of the features that they say about this. This is the Pipe Vise PD6 is what they list this as. Now, they say the weight is 0.58 pounds or 267 grams. Jaw width is 0.27 inches. Body width is 0.54 inches. Then they talk about the heavy-duty solid construction, no stamped steel, pipe vise, machined, precision machined and hardened teeth, fold-out 1/4-inch hex bit driver, locked securely into position, double-sided bit included, patent pending bottle opener hook located on driver. Now, that is one of the things, yeah, that doesn't excite me at all, but there it is, bottle opener. Got to have that even on this tool. I'm surprised there's no can opener. Then the wire bending utility hole and top jaw, T-post clip install tool and top jaw. So I'm not even sure, maybe that's part of that. Hammering surface on back of handle, which I think they would consider that as, must be this right here. And then multiple tether points, rebuildable bit driver. So here is one of the tether points. Then I guess this bit driver, you can potentially in the future get parts and rebuild it. Which, I mean, I guess that's cool, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like this tool right here is far more expensive than most people would want to spend for it, considering what it is. It doesn't feel premium. I think that's the hardest thing for me, is it doesn't feel premium. When we put on the scales, comes in at 9.3 ounces. Let's see, 263 grams on my scale. Now, I was trying to think of how would I make a tool that I would like better than this. And so I actually came up with this right here. Last time, or previously, I had come up with this Work Pro version where I added the next tool. I did a whole segment where I added a little 4mm bit driver and a knife. And I feel like that's all you need with these tools is a knife and a bit driver. So I thought, how would I come up with the tool that would be a lot cheaper than this? So what I ended up doing was using this Milwaukee. This is like their 5-inch, sort of like answer to the Knipex water pump pliers. I really like this because it comes with a pocket clip. That's something we don't see on most of the other pliers. And then I used a Klein double-sided 1/4-inch adapter. It accepts all their double-sided bits. So you can put that in there, pick out whichever bit you want. Then when you want to use a screwdriver, you just turn it around and then you have a screwdriver handy and ready to use. Now, it doesn't have the fancy fold-out option that this pipe vise does, but I think this will work fine for most applications. Now, how do you use a knife? Well, that's pretty easy. All you do is you put this in. You've got a scalpel blade to open packages, to cut insulation, and then you can replace that blade all the time. Now, I've got a members video where I talk a little bit more about how I did this and about where you can get all this stuff right here. If you're interested, feel free to sign up to become a member of the channel. But I think this is a lot better option than the pipe vise for most people. And with the screwdriver, I think the Klein screwdriver is about $22. This tool right here is about $35. So it ends up being about $50 compared to $150, which I think most people would be a lot more open to paying $50 for a tool than $150. Let me know what you guys think. As of now, the pipe vise definitely, I think, might be worth it for a dedicated plumber or maybe those in residential HVAC dealing with smaller things. But this right here, I don't know. I don't think it's worth that price tag. It is cool, but it's not cool enough.